Okay. I don't know why. I just feel like doing a lot today. So I wanted to film something on like school or college advice because a lot of people say that. For me, even like, I have not reached the place that I was supposed to be by now because I had a bit of ups and downs, and that'll actually be my first advice. Like, even if you have like ups and downs in your educational life or your student life, you should always believe in yourself and go ahead with it. Like, don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough or you should have done something by this time around, because they're not in your shoes. So the more you let other people, like, let's say, go through your head or let you manipulate into thinking something like that, you cannot succeed in, sorry, got cut off. But you cannot succeed in life when you let people do that for you. Because it's your life end of the day, and you're the one who knows what you're going through, your mental health, your everything. Like for me, I was having issues when I first got to the US to start my undergrad. I started at a community college because I really flunked out on my A levels, and my mom did sign me up for a retake. Here's like a brief intro, background, not an intro, about why I'm telling all these things, because these are like first-hand experiences for me. So I did bad in my AS like everyone else. It's like a retake, this and that. But I've always grown up to be that good, student that my parents had, that good daughter, and I was always being told that I was always told that. I was always told I'm good, I'm this, I'm that, and not otherwise. So that was like the first time I would say was after my O levels, when my parents were actually disappointed in me. I could not take it because that was a first for me, and I reacted in ways my mental health was on the verge. And like, those aunties that I was telling you about, don't about not letting people control your thinking, they of course added fuel to the fire. And at that time, well, I was like the 18-year-old girl, 17, and I did take those very very seriously, and it was affecting me. I was thinking I'm not good for anything. I always wanted to like go to either the UK or the US and come and study, and my dream university was like USC, and I wanted to go there. And no, my dad was pissed. He was like, no, this isn't for you. Like, this wasn't for you anymore. You're not gonna get a visa. You are not going to succeed. Like, no university is gonna take you. He was just ranting out, like venting out his own, anger, which and disappointment, which I completely get now. But at that time, those were getting on me. So I just look for options after options after options, and then I come up with the concept of the community college. And I saw it's not bad. Like, you're not paying what you're paying at a university, it's one third the price, so you're saving up. For me, I want to get like a master's degree, and inshallah like a PhD, so I need to save up for those. I need to have my parents save up for those. So I did not want to spend much on an undergrad degree, especially when I'm getting a master's and a PhD. And I went ahead, I researched on the community, and then I came up with Los Angeles City College, and I would say it was the best thing that happened to me. I researched on it. I actually did GED to avoid the entire A levels, and then I get my TOEFL. I contact the school, like, hey, this, like, I've done this so far in my application. What more I need to do? And they were very nice and like getting back to me. So I go ahead and fill everything up, and I submit my application. I received my I-20 in like a week. So after that, like, came the whole visa interview process, and then I apply for my visa interview, and then comes the day of the interview, and my dad was being like, his usual self. He's like, oh no, I don't think you can do it, this and that. So I go for the interview, and at that time, like, and this is like 2008, like at that time it was actually hard to like, you know, get a student visa, because, and especially for community college, it wasn't very normal back in those days. So my visa officer asks me like, why did you choose a community college and not for your university? And I was just like, you know, I was there because I saw a lot of people getting rejected before me. I don't think even saw anyone like, you know, what, get a visa that day. And I was really nervous because I had all these thoughts. That has been put on my mind that I cannot go ahead, you know, get a visa. And I was like, no, this is like my whole future. So I go and I'm like really honest, like throughout the whole interview. I just looked at her in the eyes. I'm like, I did A levels and I did not do very well, so I did GED and I decided to start fresh at a community college, give myself, you know, a fresh chance so I can do better, build a future better. Like the whole time she was on the computer typing something, and when I tell her that, she looks up to me and she's like, oh well, then why did you choose this college? I was like, well, I want to transfer to USC. It's my dream school, and I have seen like a lot of students, like I've checked their Instagram, there are like a lot of students that actually transferred, and the transfer rate is pretty good. They are affiliated with the school, so there are like courses that's, you know, specifically for that school and stuff like that. So I tell her all of that, and then she listens to me. And then she was like, and at that time, you know, I was like feeling really confident because for once she stopped typing and she was actually looking at me. I was looking at her, there was that eye contact, and I was feeling a lot better. And then she asked me like, well, what if you like, you know, struggle going there, what do you think your college is going to do? I'm like, well, I'm a STEM student, I'm a STEM major, and they have a STEM club. Like they were you know, they have a writing club, they have tutoring, so I'll get the help I need. I just have to go out and look for it. So she smiles, and then she was like, you have been to the US before, like your family? I was like, oh yeah, we have traveled. And then she was like, congratulations, your visa has been approved. And honestly, like I was teary-eyed, and like, you know, that was the first thing to me. That was like, if I do not accept my failure, yes, I failed, like I did bad, but if I don't accept it and respect myself, I cannot expect another person to do that for me. That was the first thing. So like what I'm trying to say is that failure is gonna happen. Like you're not always gonna be the, you know, grade A student, this and that. You're gonna have ups and downs, but you cannot give up. Like that's the one thing I have been doing. Like I gave up when I was a teenager, but like, so when I started to respect myself, like now I have a lot of people that ask me like, oh, you're like, you still haven't graduated. I'm like, yeah, because I changed my major. Like, and it's pretty normal changing your major, you know. You can always go into university thinking you want to study this, but you can develop an interest in something else later. And if you want to go pursue your dream, you should go ahead. Like I don't think there's a limitation to when you're supposed to graduate or anything like that, as long as you do it and as long as you're happy doing it. And that's for me, because, and then like I, what do I say, and I think the another most important thing actually that I would say about colleges is like always taking your professors seriously. At first they'll seem like really annoying, you know, pushing you to do this and that, but they actually do mean, like they actually do mean well. And then a recommendation from a professor is very, very important, especially if you're like a STEM major and you're taking like higher level courses. You need to have those professors write you the letter of like a recommendation for like your master's programs or even your PhDs, because that's going to really help you get into the school you wanted to go to. And like another thing, I'm a procrastinator, so I might sound like a hypocrite when I'm saying this, but don't procrastinate, because you are not gonna end up well, because that's what happens to me for at least one course a semester, where I'm like procrastinating. Oh, I'll do this tomorrow, I'll do that next week, and then in the end I'm like bumped with everything. And I like, that's what made me retake one or two courses before, because I was just like the whole time, now that I think maybe I didn't try enough, like, you know, it was a hard. So like, yeah, because they actually, you know, mean well. And like I could have maybe done better if I didn't procrastinate, but yeah, I decided to go ahead and do that. I don't blame myself for it, you know, because every failure is like a lesson learned for you. Like for me, I have learned very, very valuable like lessons, but the one that stands out the most is like never listen to people, never let them decide what's for you. You are in control. You have to take charge in your life, because your undergrad, like that university, this college life is like the most important life, you know, the important part in your life. Like if you do not get control of your life by now, you're not going to ever get a control of it, because it's going to be too late. You're going to be too scared when you go out to the real world. And then another thing would be like, I for like getting a job on campus, it's an amazing experience. And not only that, you're involved in a lot of campus stuff. Like for me, I have worked in outreach when I was at LACC. Now at CSUN, I'm working at outreach and enrollment services, and you are involved in a lot of campus activities, which actually looks really good on your resume. And like for me, my aim right now is a master's degree. So whatever I'm doing right now, I'm like aiming for a master's degree. So I'm trying to build up a portfolio. Like you have an experience on campus, especially being an international student, you cannot work off campus, and which I think is fine, because you gain more experience and you have more flexibility working on campus than off campus, which is, I have heard from people that, you know, are citizens here and they work like at the mall or stuff like that, and they do not have the same flexibility. Camp like your campus, you know, job is always going to prioritize your exams and your classes. They're not going to put you through, you know, like the real deal. Like this is a real job, they're preparing you for that, but at the same time they're going to give priority to your education, which I think is the most important thing in this part of the life. And after that, I would say like make memories, you know, like you have to do this, because after that, once you get a job, I have friends now that got a job and they barely leave the life, and they were so lively in their university days, and they're now like, well, I'm glad I did this or that and while I was still in school, because I don't have a life now. Like, so I would say that while you're at it, like procrastination is a no-no, but sometimes take charge. So yeah, sometimes just take charge of your life and, you know, do things around a bit. I don't know if how much sense I'm making, but like I'm just trying to get from like a personal point of view. Like these are stuff I tell my brother all the time, like do this or that. Like for me, I would say that I try to get my assignments done on the first day or second day of every week, so I'm free on the weekends, and on Sundays all I do is like edit a bunch of things that needs to be edited, because I like to go out on the weekends. I'm like a very outgoing person, so like I do that. That's like one of the things, like getting your work out of the way is a good deal. I only procrastinate when it comes to exams, to be honest, or like catching up with stuff. I don't procrastinate with homework because I get it done pretty quick. I like doing homework. I don't know. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I think for me this would be all the things that I can say as a first experience. Like, oh, another thing, always make sure you take advantage of the resources your campus has and the career fairs, stuff like that. Make sure you visit your advisors and counselors every now and then to, you know, be up to date with the courses and like new changes, stuff like that. But other than that, it's just enjoy your life, you know. And yeah, I'm telling you, like I changed my major in my third year and I'm happy with it. I don't mind, like, because it's something, if it's something you want to do, you want to do, you have to do it. Like you're doing this for yourself. No one's going to live your life 10 years from now. So yeah, have a good day.